Hello and welcome to the We Love Sport launch here at the Editor's Tap. We've got a very exciting evening planned, and I'm lucky enough to be joined on the stage by England international and Saracens rugby star Alex Good, and the Arsenal legend and England legend, that is Ray Parlour.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Good evening.
Round of
Good evening, everyone.
So let's kick tonight off with a few questions for you, Alex, if that's okay. I'd love to know how you first discovered rugby, how it all sort of started.
First started playing rugby. Well, I had an older brother, and I just wanted to do everything he did, really, and just try and keep up. And I found out at the local rugby club they had a lot of penny sweets, and I basically went along because they had the best penny sweets to start with. How I miss penny sweets these days.
Are they still a penny? I didn't even know.
No, I don't. They're probably about 10p per sweet these days. But I just went along and just loved like playing football, rugby, anything really when I was younger, and just got into it because my brother did, and I found diving around in the mud was quite fun. But I remember my mum was always not the best in terms of, I can say it, she's heard this story, but not the best in terms of keeping my kit clean and stuff. And we used to have white shorts, and she never got the mud out of them. And one day she decided that she was getting a bit annoyed that I was always the shabbiest one, and so she put the shorts in bleach and came out nice and white. Thought,
nice.
This is great. She's there, proud as punch, watching, thinking I've got the best kit this week. First tackle as a 9-year-old, the shorts just disintegrate on me, and I'm running around in my little pants in the cold, freezing weather, and she's a bit mortified at that point.
Little hot pants.
Yeah, they were.
Good
I wasn't feeling that great as a 9-year-old. My little Y fronts. No.
So that's not one of your sporting highlights, but I would love to know what what's the most memorable moment in your career? I mean, you've been with Saracens for 13 years. You've played for England. And what's like the peak of your career?
I think there's always sort of, I think it's two moments. One was playing for England. We beat the All Blacks 2012. We haven't beaten them for 10 years, and to do it so convincingly, having been beaten sort of by Australia and South Africa before, and everyone was a bit doom and gloom, and the knives are out for the coach and the players, and to go out and play so well and beat the All Blacks was pretty special. So that was amazing. And then I think this European Cup, just with Saracens against an Irish team, Leinster, who had a whole team of internationals, lauded as sort of the two best teams of the sort of decade potentially, and to go and win that, and the way we did it was phenomenal. And obviously probably more famous now for wearing a bum bag for 3 days after it than actually playing rugby. But but still.
Do you think that you could do the double again this season?
I think it'd be pretty tough. I think it's so hard to fight on two fronts with the in the rugby scene, in terms of the amount of players you need, the squad depth, with the salary cap, everything is so hard. So to do it again would be an incredible achievement. I think we'd obviously love to do it. With the World Cup as well, losing 13, 14 players for the start of the season. Yes, it's a great opportunity for those young guys at the squad and showcase their talent, but it will be very, very tricky this year.
There's a lot of rugby on at the moment on the TV, so where's like the ideal place for you to go and watch a bit of rugby, have a drink, sit down, have some food? What's the perfect setting?
Perfect setting to probably at home, to be honest. It can be
Why not?
probably not watching it. No, it's
You're supposed to say Stonegate.
Yeah.
Stonegate pub somewhere.
Live here on Saturday morning. Yeah, they're open specially for it. It's quite a weird one though, and I don't know if you ever had this as a player, but you go to the pub and watch it, and you tend to hear your sort of mates getting abused or something by someone. Oh, that Maritoji is rubbish, keeps dropping the ball, or lots of little comments, or Owen Farrell's crap, he can't kick, and you're like, well, he's obviously pretty good. He's missed one kick. But so sometimes in the pub it can be a bit annoying hearing your mates getting a bit of stick. So
it's usually when they've got a bet on it though. That's the only reason they say that.
Yeah. Of course. Not allowed to bet on rugby though. So
you can't. You can't.
No, we can't.
You told me some great tips though. Oh, yeah. For this weekend, didn't you, Alex? Nice one.
And you gave me good tips about gold. So.
What about
rugby.
You, Ray? What about you? What's the perfect night?
I love watching. Obviously, I'm enjoying the World Cup at the moment. Rugby is fantastic. Some really good shocks, isn't there? I mean, Japan beating, and Fiji, Uruguay beating Fiji, wasn't it? It was a massive shock. I'm looking at my betting here and again, 1-50 on they were, Fiji. Which I'm like, hey, this is unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, when I watch football, I do watch a lot of football, and I'm very lucky that I work with TalkSport now. So if I'm not at Arsenal home games, I go to, this weekend I'm going to Watford to watch Sheffield United against Watford. So I'm very lucky to do that. I love it. You know, you still get the buzz walking in the stadium, the supporters. You'd rather be on a pitch, obviously, but you know you're watching it now, and you're getting paid to watch it. It's even better. Isn't it? So you can't really complain with that. So I love football. I watch it. End of the day, my missus watches her stuff, some really dodgy stuff, and I'm in the other room watching sport, golf, rugby, whatever it is. I love watching sport and the competitive nature of it, which I love the most.
With the laptop, doing the bets.
Yeah, well, you can do bets on here and there. You always got to have an interest, Alex. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I'm all for that on the golf and everything.
You got to have a little interest, which is great. But this weekend I need a few tips off you. That's all.
Well, we're going to come to the rugby later, the World Cup later on, but I want to know more about your career. I mean, how did it all start in football?
Yeah, I started, believe it or not, I had two older brothers, like Alex, and I used to play over the park. And this day and age there's no PlayStations, so we got a football. We weren't a wealthy family, so working class background. I didn't see my dad during the week. Weekends he'd take me to football with my other brothers, and it really was, we'd go out 9 o'clock in the morning and come home at 6 o'clock at night. And my mum didn't know where we was. We ain't got a clue what we were doing, but we was playing football most of the time and running around and, you know, silly things, climbing trees, you know. And do you know what? I'll say now, they do fitness work now. Like, you're going to laugh here, but we should jump rivers and things like that for a laugh. But when you're landing, your legs are getting stronger every single time you land. And they do that in fitness. I'll go to Arsenal now and I'm watching them do exactly what we used to do. And you land and you tense your muscles. So things like that, I just, a normal working class background. I signed for Fulham at 9 years old. And Steve Rowley, our chief scout at Arsenal, he's left now, but he was a chief scout, always pestering my dad. And my dad was a West Ham fan, so he wanted me to sign for West Ham.
Right.
And it was a situation, 11 years old, I signed for Arsenal, and that was it. I didn't look back. And you know, I always had a dream one day I can play in the first team. You get the opportunity to play in the first team, and you know, I made my debut at Liverpool, Anfield, and the most daunting place you can ever make your debut. I mean, you remember walking down the stairs and everyone's touching, this is Anfield, and you walk on the pitch, the late Dave Rocastle and people like that, and amazing night. Didn't go too well for me because I gave away a penalty on my opening game of my career. But you learn from that, and George Graham was my manager at the time, and suddenly you're playing in front of 40,000 people, 200 people in the reserves, 40,000. So the buzz you get, you never. I miss that now, walking out in front of all them fans. I'm sure Alex gets it when he walks out with all the fans and whatever. So that's the thing you miss the most, the weekends.
So that was your debut in 1992. Yeah, I believe. I mean, what a career you've had. I mean, you've lifted the Premier League trophy, the FA Cup, you've done the double. But what was the greater feeling of the two, if you can choose? Well,
I was lucky. I played with some really good players. I mean, top players. I won 3 Premier Leagues, 4 FA Cups. But you never dream about, you dream about playing in finals and winning trophies, but you never think it's going to happen. When it's happening to you every single season, you take it for granted. But it's when you finish your career and you say, wow, blimey, I won 2 doubles. I won the Invincibles I was involved in. And, you don't realise when you finish your career. But probably the best moment was scoring the FA Cup final, because my mum and dad, as kids, it was the only live game you could watch. Was the FA Cup final. The match of the day you had, obviously, but no live football. So playing the cup final, my first one was 93 against Sheffield Wednesday. And 98 we played against Newcastle. To score in a cup final, though, was a special moment. And against Chelsea, big season. And 4 days later, we went to Old Trafford. Alex won like this, but we won the league at Old Trafford, which was 4 or 5 days later, was an amazing feat for the team. And their two best players weren't even playing. Henry and Bergkamp was was ill or injured, and Carl New and Wiltor played up front, and Wiltor scored the only goal of the game. And that's probably one of the best games I played in, because imagine Sir Alex Ferguson saying to the Manchester United players, "Don't let these Cockneys, don't let these Londoners win the league at Old Trafford." And they was kicking us for fun, seriously, and we was kicking them harder. It was a real proper battle. I reckon this day and age now, I reckon 6 players would have been sent off. That's how bad the tackles were. But everyone wanted to win. Roy Keane and guys like that, and it was magnificent. And to hear the final whistle, now you just won a double at Old Trafford, and obviously we was very lucky because 2004 we won the league at White Hart Lane, which is probably even better for an Arsenal fan. And I always remember the steward saying to us, "You can't celebrate." What? Seriously? Of course we're going to celebrate. Yeah. And we did celebrate, obviously, and that was a great season as well.
Wow.
What was the question?
Yeah, I mean, what was it like?
I can tell I work on the radio with Alan Brazil.
No, keep talking. It's great. No, it's amazing to hear. I mean, what was it like playing with the likes of Vieira and Bergkamp and Ian Wright? I mean, like absolute legends.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Bergkamp for me was the professional. When he came in '96, early in the 90s, it was very much drink orientated. It was very much going out. I was with Tony Adams. He taught me a lot of good habits, Tony, but too many bad habits as well. I mean, we was out socialising every night and having a good time, don't get me wrong. But when Dennis come in, he had a couple of drinks, not too many, but he was such a good professional. And everybody went, "Well, this guy is one of the best players we played with, and he's training after the training's finished on his own." So, suddenly we started saying, "Well, we've got to train a bit harder. We've got to change our attitude a little bit." So Dennis was a magnificent player. Harry scored another 50 goals, more than Ian Wright. I'll never know, because Ian Wright's record was unbelievable. I played in a game when he got the wrong, when he put his shirt over his head. But Thierry was a magnificent player. He sat next to me in training. I taught him everything, by the way. All the slang words. He said once, "beans on toast." When a live interview in Sky, it's brilliant. So I said, "Thierry, just say," because he hit this shot and he come off the post and went in, "just say, I had a lot of luck, it come off the beans on toast." And he done it in Sky, live on Sky. So that was quite funny, but he loved me, Thierry, and we sat next to each other for 5 years. Then I had great players like Patrick Vieira, Tony Adams, all them sort of guys were magnificent. And it was a winning formula. The worst thing for Arsene Wenger was on a Friday, I said to Alex, when we had an 8v8, because the 8 wanted to beat the other 8, and the tackles flying in. Seriously, no one wanted to lose that game. And in the end, Wenger was going, no, don't tackle that hard. Don't. But if you put them 16 players together, you had a winning formula. And that's. I'm sure Manchester United had the same at the time. Now you look at Man City, Liverpool, and them sort of teams have probably got the same similar situation.
What was it like at that time, being part of the Invincibles? How incredible was it? Did you go into every single game like saying we're going to win this?
Well, Arsene Wenger said the year before this team can go unbeaten, because it's not about 11 players on the pitch. I'm sure Alex will tell you the same. It's about the substitutions as well, the squad in depth. So if someone's injured, key players, you had players coming in doing exactly the same job, and that is the key to be going unbeaten. So 2004. This is what happens you start the season. You sit in a room, we're going to try and win the Champions League, FA Cup, as any manager would say, but let's keep going. We have ups and downs during the season. So there was pressure on us, but there wasn't, because we went out and played every single week, and probably 9 games to go, or 9 or 10 games to go, that's when the pressure started kicking in a little bit more, because we're still unbeaten. And now the press has started saying, "Well, this team, will they ever lose a game?" So 9, we win the next game or draw, and suddenly 8 games to go, 7. Then suddenly we're like, "Wow, we could do this." And we won the league at White Hart Lane. We had 4 games left, and the 4 games were the hardest 4 games we played all season, because we had Fulham, Birmingham, Derby, and Leicester, I think it was. And on paper, we should win them very easily. Mm-hmm. But because we've won the league already, sometimes you take your foot off the pedal a little bit reluctant, say, oh, okay, we've won the league, that's the most important thing. But we keep our focus up. Portsmouth was one of them. And that was the hardest game, Portsmouth away. Fratton Park, we got battered, seriously. How we got a draw out of that game, I never know. We should have lost 4-1. Jens Lehmann had a great game in goal, but we managed to walk off that pitch 1-1. Last game of the season, Leicester, 2-1, 1-0 down half time, and that's, and suddenly we come back 1-2-1. So amazing season. And whether it happened again, I don't know. I mean, Liverpool have been very close, haven't they? Man City, you look at them teams now, Liverpool's still unbeaten this season, but it's unbelievable if you can do it again. I mean, whether it happened again, I don't know.
How do you think the Invincibles would fare in today's league against the likes of City and Liverpool?
Can't really compare it. People have asked me that question so many times. I mean, we was a big, strong, powerful unit, and Man City are a great side to watch. Liverpool, a great side this day and age. But I don't think you can compare it. You can go back to, say, the 1970s and say, what that team who won a double, would they beat that double at 98? I think it's really hard to compare. All you've got to do is embrace the situation, say, these teams are fantastic to watch. And I look at Man City now, Liverpool, different class. I mean, to Liverpool to get 97, well, we went unbeaten. I think we got 90 points. Liverpool at 97 and come second. So that just shows you how good they are. And it shows you how good Man City are, getting 98 last season. So I don't think you can compare it. It'd be a good game, but I'll go for a draw. How about that?
Is there a player at the moment in the Premier League or in Arsenal that you just love to watch and would have loved to have played alongside?
I respect every single player I see because I know they've gone through good times, bad times. Sterling's been an absolute revelation under Pep Guardiola, how he's improved. Aguero for Man City. Liverpool, you look at Liverpool, the front three are brilliant. I mean, Mane's been sensational. Salah, who scored goals for fun. Firmino's a probably underrated player because he's the one who links it all together. But you always look at them two sides because they're dominating English football at the moment, and it's great to see that hopefully they can get to one of them guys can get to the Champions League final.
We will see. Just talking about Arsene Wenger, who you loved as a manager, and he had such a long tenure. And do you feel that he left at the right time last year?
No, he probably should have left 3 years before that, if I'm being honest. The pressure was on and he wasn't getting the results. The players weren't as good as he thought they probably was. And I hated the last year going to Arsenal every single week. It really pained me to see the fans weren't turning up, having a go at Wenger. And, he'd done so well for that club. The legacy of the club is down to Arsene Wenger. What they achieved. I mean, the supporters around the world now, because that era from '96 to 2000, when they was winning trophies and trophies and trophies. Sir Alex Ferguson, who's probably the best manager ever in the Premier League, but he really put pressure on him. So it was painful to see. I think he should have left when they beat Chelsea in the FA Cup. That would have been a good time to leave. But Arsene Wenger is such a passionate man about football that he really believed he could get Arsenal to win the league again, which he probably had no chance, if I'm being honest. So, he probably looked back and say, "I maybe stayed a little bit too late," but that's football.
He did so much for the club in terms of revolutionising Arsenal when he first joined and through his career. How has the culture changed? It's like, to now, to today.
Well, there's a lot more money around now. I mean, you got players on 350 grand a week now, which is Ozil, who's not even in the squad against Manchester United. So lots of things have changed. I'm hoping the passion's still there because one thing about our team under Wenger, sometimes the manager, we didn't need the manager. The players themselves will sort it all out. And Arsene Wenger was very, very tactically very good, training-wise. We'll have a meeting in a hotel, and then we go to the game, and it would disappear. He'd come back 2 minutes before kick-off and say, "Come on, lads, we know what we got to do. Off we go." Now the players knew exactly what their jobs were, as a team. If you weren't doing your job, and it takes 2 people in a team of 11, Alex will be the same, 3 of you don't play well or not up to standards, you lose the game. And it's very similar. If people weren't doing their jobs during the game, there'd be a massive argument half-time. Wenger would be standing over there, he's not involved with it. So Adams would go, what are you doing? You get back in there, Patrick Vieira having a go at each other, we're having a go at him, and whatever. And that's what the beauty was. Now, this day and age, I don't think that's around now. You know, do they have arguments half-time? And do they, you know, it's all about standards. You set your standards up here, you've got to deliver every single week, especially if you're in the top team. And if you don't deliver, you lose the game. So whether that's changed a lot, it probably has. Hopefully that desire and that dressing room is still there. I'd love to be in the dressing room now. When they lose a game, see what happens, see what the reaction is from the other players.
Do you think that's a big change in terms of players socialising together? And what I mean by that is, you said you were pretty close with Bergkamp, Henry,
yeah.
and that, so you could have those conversations. Like if he wasn't tracking back, or if Lee Dixon was having a shocker, he could shout at you and say, "Look, you're not getting back to help me enough." Do you think nowadays, you know, players aren't as close, and so
it's
they
still
have
your
those
job, though,
conversations?
Alex? It's still your job. Yeah, you know exactly what your job is to do on a rugby field.
Yeah.
You've got to perform. Yeah. So when you're at high standard, like, you know, let's go Man City, Liverpool. If a couple of players are not doing their job, there should be people in that team saying, right, pull your finger out. Not being vindictive, or not having to go for the sake of it, but it's just because you want the high standards. You know, and you know when you've had a poor game, you know when you're not at it. I'm sure you've been the same boat as I've been in. And you say, right, lads, sorry, I'll train a bit harder next week and we'll be back in. So you had characters in my dressing room that if you wasn't doing your job, you get told and say, right, sort yourself out, because you're affecting me now. And as a midfielder, say my mate alongside me is not doing his job, I've got to cover for him now. I'm trying to cover for him. All of a sudden, my man might score. And I'll be like, hey, wait a minute, I'm trying to help you out, but my man scored. I'm going to get the blame here. So it's just having them standards, and everyone's got to, you know, work hard and work together as a team, because it is a team game. You know, there's individuals, top class players, but it's still a team. And that team, when you win, you're together. When you lose, you're together. So, you know, that's how it used to work. Yeah. So same as rugby. Exactly
team sports. There's a lot of that going on at the moment.
It's harder to be an individual sport, I should imagine, because you imagine being a golfer and you're having a bad time.
Or a tennis player.
You've got your caddy. You've got your caddy, but you know, it must be so difficult to say, well, okay, can you take the shot for me? I'd rather say my caddy, so you take the shot for me. But so team sports are a lot different, because you can have an off day, but get away with it. Because the other teammates will help you out.
But you've got that team element and that kind of that friendship, like you were saying.
I think on that as well. As long as the person who's having a go, Ray's having a go at me for something, if I know that he's got the best interest at heart, like for the team's benefit and not his own individual
constructive criticism. You don't ever go at people for the sake of it. You might not like people in dressing room. I got on with everybody, so I was fine. But there'd be people who don't like each other. And if they had to go in for the sake of it, then other people would butt in and say, well, wait a minute, well, you know. Exactly. So it'd be probably similar to rugby.
Yeah. And there's still shouting, even now. You don't, sometimes the heat of battle, you're on the field, you know, you're in a sort of a moment and you shout at someone. You're not doing it to be nasty, you just need to get the point across. And obviously there's nice ways you can sit down and be all PC and be really nice.
Well,
on the field, it's never like that.
Tony Adams was my best mate by a mile, and he would hammer me in the game. He'd go, what are you doing? It'd be, you're not your mate on the field. You are there to do a job. And off the field, after the game, we'd be in a bar having a drink, no problem. But on that field, this is where we earn our money. This is where it's most important time. And if I wasn't doing my job, don't care if it's my best mate, my room partner, whoever, he would hammer you, seriously. And that, you learn from that.
It's all great chat. And let's talk about the Rugby World Cup, Alex. So it's underway in Japan. It's been an incredible tournament so far. Who do you predict, let's be honest, who do you predict to lift that trophy?
I think it will be between South Africa and England, ultimately. I think England are looking good at the moment. We'll see a lot more against Argentina and France, but I think tactically they're in a good place. They've had some highs over the last 4 years, some lows they've really learnt from, and they've grown as a squad quite a bit. I think they'll be able to beat the All Blacks in the semi-final. I know the All Blacks are the favourites, but I think England won't be the prettiest game, but they will tactically just go for them in the scrum, the line out. They'll bully them physically. They'll go after them, and the English pack, will be too strong for them in that sense. So, and then you'll get to the final. I don't know, between South Africa and England, very similar sides. It would be interesting. I'd love to see England win it. See a lot of friends there, and it'd be fantastic. But I think those two teams at the moment are the ones that will be in that final.
Do you feel like you should be out there in Japan?
Yeah, my mum says I should be there, but she's not biased at all.
And his agent.
Yeah. He's already scarpered. No, I mean, like, obviously, I'd love to be there. It's a dream to play for your country. You know, you talked about playing in front of big crowds. You play at Twickenham in front of 85, 90,000 people, and you hear the national anthem sort of being screamed at you, and it's the most incredible feeling, and you just can't wait to go out there and play and not let people down. But it's, I'd love to be in Japan, but it's not to be. It's one man's opinion, and that happens in all team sports. It's perhaps the only time you do like to be an individual sportsman. It's pretty simple then. You're either better than everyone else or you're not.
You're not giving up though? So
No, not at all.
I'm saying, will you hopefully one day you get another call up?
Look,
I know your age is, you're getting older and whatever.
Yeah, cheers for that, yeah.
No, not being rude, but, you've got youngest...
Do I look older at the moment? Is that tough paper?
No.
Yeah.
No. But hopefully one day you get back, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I certainly haven't given up hope. I think I've played well this year.
Yeah.
Again, at 31 years old, and I don't rely. I was saying to you before on pure speed or athleticism. So hopefully there'll be a chance. The doors never shut. You hope, but at the moment, I think that's where it's great to have a club like Saracens for me.
Yeah.
Put all my focus into a club, the only club I've ever been at. Club I love, and then when we win something, it means even more. And so it's a
Would you
great
go
feeling.
into management when you finish your career?
I don't think so.
Or coaching?
I don't think so. On the basis that I think nowadays the head coach for any team, it's about 95% man management, and I wouldn't enjoy that. It's so much, as you said about those squad players, so much about keeping people who aren't playing happy, trying to rotate, trying to keep the whole place moving. Trying to manage the staff as well, other coaches. I don't think I enjoy that.
No.
But I'm also ambitious, so I wouldn't want to just go and be like a skills coach for a couple of days and not aim for that top role. So I don't think coaching for me. And I think as well, the biggest difference is if you're a player, you go out there and you can, within reason, control the destiny a bit. You can play well or not play well, and it's in your hands within reason. As a coach, it's got a thing where the players go out and you go, how are they going to go today? And you could be like, I don't know. And you can't do anything about that. Once they're out there, it's the players. And yes, you can prepare them well and be a good coach, but once on the field, there's nothing you can do.
I didn't like the regimental side of it all. To be fair, being a rugby player, whatever sport you're playing, you're not being in the army, really. I know it's a better job than the army, don't get me wrong. But you're told what to do every single day.
It's a discipline, and
Right, train then, eat then, get on a coach then, play the game then, get on there, and I think coaching for that's why I didn't go into it. I thought I had that all my career, and I want to do what I want to do. I want to play golf with my mates on a Monday. I want to go drinking with Alan Brazil on a Tuesday. So you can't do that if you're a coach, can you, or a manager? You can't do that. So that's the reason I said I don't really fancy coaching.
That was one of my questions. I was
going
to ask about because you got the likes of. Just carry on. Like Frank Lampard, former player who's gone into
brilliant.
management.
I love Frank. He's done a really good job. I'm really pleased for Frank because he was a great player. I mean, to get the all-time Chelsea goal-scoring record, and he's a midfielder, is an amazing achievement for Frank. But he was always hard-working. I mean, if you look at Frank when he was at West Ham. Harry Redknapp used to tell me, he said, you never believe this kid, he was on that training field every day, and it's not it's not by accident that he scored 20 goals a season for midfield. That is pure hard work, finishing, practicing, and I'm so pleased for him. He's got his opportunity at Chelsea. Look, I want Arsenal to come above Chelsea this year, if I'm being honest, but I'm really hoping he does really well. And he's put all the youngsters in. Mason Mount has been a revelation. He's back in the England squad. Tammy Abrams, I should imagine, will be in the next England squad because he's done brilliant as well. So I'm really pleased for Frank, and I hope he does well. Steven Gerrard as well. Yeah. All these British managers hope that one day they can really. Well, one of them two could be the England manager one day.
And then nurturing the young talent, which is
absolutely.
homegrown. And
I think that's the best thing. For years we've been seeing Chelsea, with all these foreign stars and stuff. And this year he's just got so many academy players.
Yeah, he's done really well.
Reece James is coming in as well.
Hudson-Odoi is going to be back in the team. Obviously, there's so many good players. You just got to get the right balance, though. When you got all these youngsters coming in, you've got to have the right balance of bit of experience, a few youngsters. But at the moment, they're doing really well. Good result last night, 2-1 away at Lille. So I think Chelsea, it could be a surprise package this year, hopefully. Well, not hopefully, but it could be a surprise package.
Alex, there's a lot of sort of young, maybe less inexperienced players that must look up to you at Saracens as well as an instrumental person in the club.
Wait a minute, Alex, after he won, he didn't go home for 3 days. So is that a good influence, Alex?
Yeah, that's mentoring. I was just spending a lot of time with the other players.
And
really trying to get around the whole
well.
squad.
How long did you have your kit on for?
Had it on till, so played on Saturday, had it on till the Tuesday
that is a round of applause. That's quality.
Yeah.
But did your mum wash your kit though?
No, I had to wash my own kit, but I didn't smell too fresh. I certainly, when I woke up on Tuesday morning, I'd stay at a mate's house, came back, and I was like, I'm dishevelled here, feeling a bit fearful after a few days, as you do.
Yeah, but you've done well, you deserve it.
Obviously, great celebration, and the first thing I did was actually go to my mum's to get some breakfast and a hug because I was feeling pretty fragile. She took one look at me on the step with my bum bag on and just went, "What are you like?"
You've been pushing the bum bag tonight. I like it. It's
a must-have accessory, that one,
Oh, well, good luck for the rest of, for the season ahead and for everything in the future. Got a very exciting future ahead. And thank you, both of you, for the Q&A panel tonight. It's been wonderful. And thank you for watching. And thank you also to the Editor's Tap for hosting us tonight for the We Love Sport launch.
Okay, cheers.